Morning everybody, thank you for coming. Don't forget we're here every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. at Bluewater Quay, Mackay, Worldwide Rally for Freedom Mackay. We've been going for nearly 5 years. We bring up lots of subjects. You can bring issues to us that we can help you find out more about if you need to. That's what we're here. We're a community and we love to have people coming us along and supporting us and helping us and bringing their issues as well as listening to ours, what we can let you know what we do when we do our research. But like we always say, don't believe us. We can lead you in the direction. You need to do your own research and your mind will be blown away. When you start doing your own research, you will believe it more because you've seen it for your own eyes. But don't follow us and believe everything we say. We wish you would, but you don't have to. We don't ask you to do that. We want you to do your research. And by the amount of followers that we're having on our Facebook and other social media pages, obviously that's what's happening because the comments we're receiving, and Teen makes a very big effort to answer every one of those comments. 99.9% of them are positive. There's the occasional idiots that we're not even interested in, negative comments and rude comments. Well, we just delete and block them. We're not interested in that. We're not interested in fighting, that sort of an attitude. We've got more to do with than handle negative. So we've got, I think it's 21,200 or something like that, is it, in our Facebook followers? 22,300, there we go. It's building all the time. That's just our followers on our Facebook page. So we've got, Telegram, Rumble, TikTok, and YouTube as well. So on these reels, you'll find that information at the end of the reel. So if you have any, and contact details for us. So if ever you need to do so, by all means, reach out. So I'd just like to follow on with what Teen has spoken about this morning with regards to the books in the library. Now, we were just fighting recently to keep our Gordon White Library open because the council, in their wisdom, wanted to move it out close it down and move the library services out to their 15-minute city Northern Beaches hub at Rural View, at Shoal Point, Bucasia, Northern Beaches. So that was their plan. Obviously, they didn't tell the residents of Mackay or the ratepayers of Mackay that was the plan. And then when we found out and that it was possibly going to be a cost to us, a lot more people spoke out. So well done to the ratepayers of Mackay to speak out about why we have to fund something that should be part of the council's curriculum, and instead they use the money from ratepayers to fund entertainment for the whole town. When did we lose the ability to entertain ourselves? When did we lose the ability to go and play on the beach with our children? I've got 2 hula hoops at home. People don't even know what they are. They say to me, what are these things? I said, they're hula hoops. Well, what do you do with them? Oh my gosh, probably 40 years ago I could have shown them what to do with them, but I have a bit of trouble now keeping it around the hips because the hips are sort of the same angle as my stomach, as my waistline. But anyway, hula hoops. Rounders on the beach. We've got beautiful beaches here. You never see anybody down there anymore because people have let their children onto these devices that are their babysitters. They control their thoughts, they control their actions. Get rid of these devices and get yourselves out in family units, in friends, groups, whatever, and enjoy yourselves in the open air. Play together. Do things together. The ratepayers of Mackay should not be forking out money to entertain the people of the Mackay region. And now with their Disney 100 Years of Magic show that they're going to bring here for 6 months from 24th of December, we're going to be paying for the entertainment of anybody in the world that wants to come to Mackay to see that show because that's where it's being held. And the ratepayers, we asked the council what was it going to cost the ratepayers. They can't give us a definitive answer because they don't know how much it's going to cost until the last of the ticket sales come in. How ingenuous is that? Eh? Our rates might be like 10 grand next year just to cover their show. Because the cost of the tickets to see Disney 100 Years of Magic show in Mackay is $53 for adults and $51 for children from the age of 2 till 12. So 12 and over are adults, $51 and $53 each ticket. In a time of cost of living crisis where people can't even put food on the table for their children, they expect us to fork out $200 for a family, 2 parents and 2 children. Over $200 to go and see a show for Disney. Now, my advice to you is if you really want to see some of these Disney movies, these old ones that have been around for 100 years, go down to any op shop. They are all 50 cents each down at the op shop. You can keep the movie and play it over and over if you really want to do that. 50 cents each. That's how important Disney has become to the community and the world. It's irrelevant. It's insignificant. In the cost of living crisis and other issues around us that swirl around us day by day and grow and grow and grow. A Disney show is not what we want our ratepayers to have to pay for. So do your research. Don't forget. And this library with these books in that Teen has shown us today, we had a fight with these people about a year ago, 18 months ago. We had a fight with our local regional council because of the content they had in our local libraries for children. These books weren't there. We had a book called Welcome to Sex that we fought over until they finally did take it out of the library, along with a series of books by Ken Kamatsu that were taken out because they just depicted, they were a cartoon series of books, about 100 and something books, all depicting murder, rape, domestic violence, all in a cartoon form. And our teenagers were looking at them. They thought it was a great series. But they took that out too. But now we just decided we'd go and have another quick look at what our library is offering, and we found umpteen amounts of these books that are aimed at our little children. Let our children be children. It is ridiculous, the content of these books. The council say, they have a department that regulates the material that comes into the library, and, it's up to them what goes into our libraries. No, it's not. They're run by our regional councils. They are run by the regional council, these libraries. It's up to them to look after our children and keep them safe from this woke agenda that's being pushed on them all the time. The book Teen read was one of many, and the words in it, it just boggles your mind to think that this is what our little children are struggling with when they can't even spell their own names anymore. They can't spell apple. Sight words are a thing of the past. They give them an LGBTIQ+ book to read. It's evil, and it's an agenda that's being pushed by the World Economic Forum to break up the family unit, to break up our society. And we're not going to let them do that. We are going to stand strong, and we're going to fight back. We are fighting back. We don't want these in our library. Mums and dads, go to the library and see what your children are being exposed to. Now, when we had a drag queen storytime show held at the Mech 18 months ago, a couple of years ago, the council wouldn't do anything about stopping that either. We wrote to them, we approached them, we went and met with them. We exposed what we thought was the wrong thing to do, to expose 2 to 4 year olds to a drag queen storytime show at the Mech. But they still went ahead with it because it was acceptable as far as they were concerned. And when we stood out the front as a group of about 40 of us, making a stand with our signs and core flutes, exposing what was going on inside, we weren't making any problem. The police didn't even worry about us. The council put security guards onto us, who we ignored anyway. They were nothing. We were there. We were allowed to be there. We were on public footpath, which we can be. We weren't disrupting anybody. We weren't being rude, noisy or abusive. So there was no reason that we had to move, and we didn't. And the police came along and agreed that we didn't have to move. So we stood there. And the only person that came and asked us what we were doing was an old man. Probably, no, I shouldn't say old, he was probably younger than me, but he was probably in his 60s or 70s. And he asked us what we were doing there, and we told him. We were protesting about the drag queen story time that was being held in the Mech for 2 to 4 year olds. And he said, "My wife has just taken our grandchildren in there. We'll soon see about that," he said. Off he went. Minutes later, here he was with the lady and the 2 kids walking back to their car. So what we're asking is, if the mothers and grandmothers aren't going to look after their children, dads and grandfathers, you go out and do the job. You go and see what they're doing to your children and your grandchildren. Because I know my dad would be rolling in his grave if he thought that any of his children were being exposed to this sort of stuff. So mums, dads, granddads, grandmas, uncles, aunties, whatever you want to be, get out there and help save our children from this monstrosity, woke agenda that they have no need to see at the age of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 12.